Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story I was going to get around to, but as usual, it's very difficult to do. I've read through it, and wow, you feel so many emotions when you see something like this. I mean, many of us come from families where we have young people Jalen's age. I have some on both sides, my mother and father's side, and I love my younger cousins. And we don't want them to go out in the world and be harmed for any reason. But when you live in constant wickedness, these are the things that happens. And no matter how much these folks try to justify this stuff to us, it's indefensible. Only a demon is going to come to you and tell you you are responsible for your own death. Only a demon does that. And ladies and gentlemen, that comes from chattel slavery. Whenever they open their mouths and say, oh, well, you're responsible for this and you're responsible for that, that comes out of chattel slavery. That's why they're talking to you like that. And it just goes to show you we're not only impacted by that stuff, they are too. They done passed that mess through the generations. That's why they still talk to you and use things when they speak to you that the origins comes out of chattel slavery. And one of those things is, oh, well, you're responsible for your own death. That comes out of chattel slavery. That's how this goes to show you how long they have been saying things, from radicalizing their children at home. It just goes to show you how many generations they have been passing things down. That's what it does prove. I said this before, I'm going to say it again. Nobody should end up dead in a traffic stop. No one. If the person behind the wheel did something wrong, the only thing that cop should be doing is writing the ticket and sending the person on their way. If you run things and there's a warrant, there's ways to handle that too. Nobody have to end. It should be no deaths during a traffic stop. None. But here they do it. Now, before I get into this really tragic story, y'all, there is a documentary on Netflix called Amend. Please go out and watch it because it will give you the origins of why they treat us the way that they do in this country when it comes down to the laws. It gives you the whole origins of it. It gives you the origins on why they refuse to protect us in America to this very day, and why you have never gotten protection from law enforcement and where that originates from. So make sure you watch it, but it goes over a lot of the history that you already know, but it gets heavily into the 14th Amendment. And that 14th Amendment is still stemming from things that you see today. Cops refusing to protect us, them stealing our taxpayer money, but failing to protect us. And you will understand where and why and how this is still happening. They want you to have no protections under the law, and this will show you exactly where that attitude they have about us not getting protection or anything. Don't give them nothing, don't do nothing for them. You'll understand the origins of where that came from. So if you get a chance and you have Netflix, watch this documentary called Amend. All right? Amend. So let's get into this story. Jayland was in a traffic stop. He was pulled over. And he was shot 60 times. 60 times. Now, I'm not showing no video that violent. So, but you are welcome to go out and get the video and view it yourself. But I will not show a video of a black man dying and getting pummeled with 60 bullets. So if you have to see that, you have to go elsewhere to see it. So this happened in Akron, Ohio. And you see the lawyer that the family hired holding up Jayland's picture. I mean, this young man should not be gone, but he is gone. Jayland Walker, 25 years old. So after police pursued over a traffic violation, Jayland Walker, he was shot 60 times. And that, in order for them to shoot him 60 times, he was already down on the ground when they were still pumping all kinds of bullets in him. Now, recently I did a story on Lance Stores, a white man that fatally killed 3 police officers and a canine in Kentucky. They didn't shoot him 60 times, and he murdered people. Jayland, ladies and gentlemen, there is no justifiable reason to shoot somebody that amount of times. So, Bobby DeCello, the attorney representing Walker's family, described the video as unbelievable scene. He also said the shower of 90 bullets from the police officers' guns, which he estimated lasted 6 seconds. It sounds like a whole brick of fireworks going off. The body camera footage will be released to the public on Sunday by police. This is going to be a brutal video. It's going to stir up some passions. They're already in the streets protesting in Akron right now. It's going to make people uneasy, he told the Akron Beacon Journal. The Akron Police Department released a statement Tuesday saying officers tried to pull 25-year-old Walker over a traffic violation at 12:30 a.m. June 28th. Police said Walker refused to stop and drove off in his vehicle. I don't believe the police account of anything, you know, and they got a whole history of not telling the truth when it comes down to us. So I take their account with a grain of salt. A chase ensued, and officers reported that a gun had gone off in the vehicle, and officers had not clarified how they knew a gunshot went off. Again, that's why I don't believe their account of anything. They have an agenda, and these cops are out here shooting us like they're shooting deer. That's how they treat us, like they are literally out here hunting deer. DeCello said that when an officer reported a gunshot into the police radio, his voice doesn't get excited, and they continue to drive several more minutes. DeCello also said his team has not been able to gather evidence that Walker pointed his gun at officers, or that gunfire escaped his car, because they're not telling the truth. That's why you're not able to get that evidence, because they're not telling the truth. DeCello told the New York Times all of Walker's windows were intact after the fatal shooting. So there were no bullets, coming from that window. And you could say, oh, well, the windows could have been down. Well, that's not what his lawyers are saying. That's not what his lawyer is saying. He didn't say the windows were down. He said the windows were all intact. No bullets went through his window coming in or out of the vehicle. Walker eventually hopped out of the vehicle and fled on foot. Police said that actions by the suspect caused the police to perceive he posed a deadly threat to them. Now, wait a minute. Wait, listen, y'all. They had a 5-hour standoff with Lance Stores. He killed 3 police officers and a canine. And in that story, they never said he posed any kind of deadly danger. But they are saying, listen now, a black man running away posed a deadly threat to them. But a white man that gunned down 3 officers and a canine, they never said once that he was a deadly threat to them. And they sure as hell didn't shoot him over 60 times. Don't you ever let them get away with telling you that these young black men deserve this. Don't you ever let them get away with it. The next time they try to form their non existent lips to say that, make sure you bring up Lance Stores. Not one time in that story did they feel that they feared for their lives. Not one time did they say he was a deadly threat, and they took him in alive. But a black man running away from police officers, he's a deadly threat. So in America, I'm going to say this again, America tries to make you believe that a white man that murders multiple people is less scarier than an unarmed black man that's running away. They want you to believe the unarmed black man is way more deadly and scarier than a white man that have shot multiple people. The unarmed black man is the most deadliest and dangerous if you listen to them talk. Ladies and gentlemen, what this cop said is nothing but the propaganda they have been using all along to justify why they gunned down black men in this country. They didn't even say this about Peyton Gendron. When you go and look at Peyton Gendron's stories, they did not say he posed a deadly threat. But this is what they're saying about Jayland, who is running away from them. Don't you ever forget this. The next time they try to act like we're so violent, we're so dangerous. Oh my goodness, it's so scared. Oh, I feared for my life. They don't fear for their lives after a mass shooting. Hell, they don't even want to confront the mass shooter. We saw what happened in Uvalde. They were petrified to go in there to even deal with the mass shooter. So Jayland runs away, and the cop over the radio says that he posed a deadly threat to them running away. DeCello said that the body camera footage may dispute some of those claims. There is no stopping and turning around DeCello, which means that Jayland kept, once he started running, he kept right on running. He didn't even turn around to look at the cops. He kept right on running. How the hell is that a threat? That's not a threat. That's not no deadly threat. But these are the words and the propaganda they put out because they believe that justifies them killing any of us. That's why they do that. There's no making his hands into the shape of a gun. There's no holding his cell phone. So he was just literally just running. He didn't have nothing in his hands. He didn't turn back to look at the cops. He just kept running. He has nothing in his hands. This is his lawyer talking. DeCello also said an investigation into Walker's death suggests he sustained. Now they're putting out 60 bullets. His lawyer is saying up to 80 bullets. Up to 80 bullets were in his body. In his body. So, ladies and gentlemen, you got to also take, they probably shot over 100 times because all of those shots did not go in him. Probably some of them went, went astray and missed him. Because I know I saw the stories, all the stories are saying 60. His lawyer is saying up to 80 bullets were riddled in his body. Officers in Akron were placed on administrative leave, which we in the Black community call vacation, following Walker's death, and the New York Times reported. Over the past week, residents of Akron have been protesting on the behalf of Walker. During a Thursday press conference, Walker's family described Jayland as the sweetest young man, and they want transparency from authorities over the shooting. And we know cops, they talk all that transparency stuff, but they don't do anything that's transparent at all. Or again, a psychological warfare. They say things to make you feel a certain way, but they're not actually doing those things. And that's what transparency is from the police. They say the words, but they don't actually do it. Okay, so we love Jayland. Joanna Walker Dawkins, Walker's aunt, said Thursday, "He was my skinny little nephew, and we miss him. We just want some answers." The Akron Police Department in DeCello did not immediately respond to insiders' requests for comment. So, ladies and gentlemen, it does not talk about Jayland having um, any type of bad background. It does not talk about him threatening to shoot the cops. He didn't do anything that Lance Stores actually did, shoot and kill 3 cops and a K9. He didn't do anything like that. He was running for his life. And I don't blame anybody for doing that because of the long standing reputation of the police in this country. They hunt us, they don't protect us. They are more inclined to harming us during an emergency and not helping us. But again, I'm going to say this one more time, ladies and gentlemen, Watch the documentary Amend, and you will understand the origins of why we are treated the way that we are all throughout history. Don't let these people come and tell you you've done this wrong and you're a bunch of criminals and you're this and you're that. It even goes over that. How when we are born, we're automatically criminals. It even talks about that in the documentary Amend.